Also, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority faces public backlash over its decision to deploy staff to provide extended driver licensing services to Ghanaians abroad.
Also to come, trading activities at Makola number 2 grind to a halt as traders embark on a demonstration against what they describe as exorbitant rent. News Central live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. This afternoon, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is convening an emergency meeting with the ECG and allied agencies following widespread media reports and public complaints about the rapid depletion of prepaid units. In a statement signed by the Commission's Executive Secretary, Dr. Shafiq Suleiman, the regulator acknowledged growing concerns from consumers and noted that the issue has significant regulatory, technical, and consumer protection implications. And the Commission warned that the situation could undermine public confidence in electricity metering and vending systems if not promptly addressed. According to the statement, the meeting scheduled this afternoon will review the implementation of the revised tariff within the prepaid vending and metering architecture and examine any system parameter configuration or conversion logic changes linked to the adjustments. Participants will also assess vending data, trends, and meter update protocols, evaluate the scale and nature of consumer complaints and current resolution measures, and consider immediate technical and communication interventions needed to safeguard the consumer in all of this. But a number of you have been sharing sentiments in relation to this particular subject matter. Here's what you've been telling us from the streets of the capital this afternoon.
The prepaid is too expensive. If you look at my shop, I don't have fan. I have my own meter. I use 2 bulbs. If I buy 60 cedis, I spend less than a week, sometimes 4 days, 5 days, that got finished. I have the same problem in my house too. So the prepaid is too expensive. I don't know if it is the meter or when you buy, they find a way to take something from your money. I don't know.
Yeah, ni patre ni use 1 meter. You turn 2 weeks. No 2 weeks import 300. Na san. Enti aye sama ba kokura jade na ni fridge use. Nti yes ni pa mienu pa na use fridge. Enso so still. Ya ka bua ye to 1 week. Na 3 days abeto so 300 na san.
Ko hit 100 cedis at least catch a hu me no use a fridge come ke fan ke bulb come we use ko 100 cedis share 2 weeks eta e share ko e cha hu to mo 9 e share 2 weeks because ko ye 1 week 1 day ko pay fitahi ko 100 cedis so na in share den cheni you the same thing le hu na kan no.
I can buy like 50 Ghana. If I buy 50 Ghana, maybe you not read 1 week, it finish. I don't know whether the meter they get the fault or waiting. I didn't know. So now you don't know how the person where you go ask. So that is why you keep quiet.
I normally buy like maybe 100 cedis or maybe 70 cedis. But before you realize, it will be like 3 days, 4 days, then it's off. I think it's the meter. I want the government to bring the first one that we normally use.
Oh man, but your prepaid is here the mama Charlie 50 Ghana, 100 Ghana, 4 days, a chepani 4 days. And check sa prepaid in the I was say we are saying no, a boat wide and Sana Sikano. Sikano, 4 days. Now I start to prepaid the coin.
A number of Ghanaians speaking to the difficulty in terms of prepaid meters running quite crazily, right? Let's speak to the Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the PURC, Dr. Eric Obute, who's joining us right now via the phone lines. Doc, I appreciate you speaking to us. Let's start from the basics. Has this meeting, this emergency meeting started, and who is in the meeting?
Thank you very much for having me this afternoon on your show. This afternoon, yes, the meeting will start at 2 p.m. The meeting has not yet started.
Right.
But the meeting is basically to have ECG come over to explain to the Commission exactly what is going on, that consumers have been found to realize that their meters are running a bit abnormally. So the meeting will start at 2 p.m. The meeting is not started yet.
Right. We'll get into what expectations you have as PURC, but this complaint of the prepaid running out so quickly, in terms of your observation in arriving at this decision for a meeting, how long have you observed the problem and the customer complaints before asking ECG to come provide some explanation?
Thank you very much. To be very honest with you, customers have not complained to the Commission. The Commission was not in the known about this whole issue. But our field officers picked up snipers of all these things that are happening. Then on the radio station, we heard from Monday that customers, one or two of them had complained into the radio stations. So our men were actually deployed onto the field to know what exactly was going on. So we picked up this intelligence ourselves, and partly also from the radio stations and the media as a whole. Since Monday, we've been working at it, and that's when we even dispatched a letter to ECG for them to meet us and explain to us exactly what the situation is on the ground. And in the interim, our men and women, our ladies are also on the field gathering data, and the data that we have is what we can also use to confront ECG with this afternoon.
Right. Means you are on the field as well, assessing the veracity of the claim by Ghanaians and wanting to get data inputs from their meters to compare with ECG when this meeting comes off later this afternoon.
Yes, that's exactly what we are doing. We are trying to make sure that we get information from independent information from the field that we can actually come up with when we meet with ECG, because we don't want to depend solely on what ECG will feed us with. So whatever it is that we have, that is what we'll be discussing with ECG this afternoon.
Right. The sector minister, Dr. John Jinapo, yesterday was speaking in relation to this concern as well and raised a number of issues he believes is resulting in what it is that we are seeing, matters having to do with the type of meters and some other things. In this round of checks you're doing, have you been able to confirm any of the assertions of the minister in entering this meeting with ECG?
For now, I don't have that authority to speak to any of the issues until maybe the authority is given for us to go out there and speak to the issues. Just as I told you, we are gathering data, and we need to make sure that we have some watertight evidence before we can ask the necessary questions. So if I come out now to speak to you on something which I'm not very well conversant with, I think I might be jumping the gun.
Right. Just finally on expectations and the scale of explanations we're looking forward to from ECG, what are you looking forward to as the regulator from the electricity distribution company when they come around today?
Well, we are expecting them to brief us on exactly what the situation on the ground is, what has led to that, if actually that is what is pertaining on the ground, what has led to that. And if investigations concluded, come out to the fact that, well, yes, ECG is culpable and actually people's meters have been running out of credit in a very quick time. There's a way of compensating the consumers who have been affected. And that the Commission has done before. I think in the year 2022 or 2023, I think it should be 2022, we did a similar thing when we came up with a major tariff and there were this type of issues. The Commission actually investigated these issues and found that, yes, ECG was wrong. And so they made ECG to compensate those people with extra data, extra credit which they have lost over the period. So that's what we are expecting this afternoon if we meet with them.
Right. Doc, just one final question in relation to this prepaid issue. There are those who make the argument and say the blame actually should be laid at the doorstep of PURC because you've increasingly approved tariff increments which in the regions of 32 percent if you want to accumulate all of the increases we've seen, and that is what has made prepaid very expensive.
Well, the review of tariffs is different from the implementation of the tariffs. When the tariffs are reviewed, that is done by the PURC. Implementation of the tariffs, which we monitor, is done by the utility service providers, i.e. ECG, NETCO, Ghana Water Company. So we cannot box the two together and say because of the tariff reviews, that's what has led to.
But the tariffs will make the prices go up.
Say again, please.
The tariff will make the prices go up as well. That's why people are pointing to increase in tariffs as a possible explanation to why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Well, the PURC only relies on data which is available for us to work with. We don't actually just pluck data from anywhere, but we depend on institutions that give us the data which we work with. So, for instance, if we take the Forex, we depend on the Bank of Ghana exchange rates over a period. If we look at the inflation rate, we depend on what Ghana Statistical Services provides us. So we do not actually pluck data from anywhere. If you look at the weighted average cost of gas, it's all dependent on the gas prices, which we get from N-Gas, from 10, Sankofa, Jubilee. We mix it all and we have a weighted average. So it all depends on data that we have, which will determine the price of or determine the tariff that we come out with.
And per all of these averages, can Ghanaians in the next review window, which I know we do this quarterly, expect a reduction? Because there are some civil society groupings who say Ghanaians have overpaid for electricity and they deserve a reduction.
If we do, PURC always has two tariff windows, a major tariff and a minor tariff. Now, the major tariff is what we just concluded, and the minor tariff is done on a quarterly basis. That minor tariff is done taking into consideration 4 parameters, which I believe you know by now.
Yes.
The exchange rate, the inflation, the weighted average cost of gas, and also the generation mix between hydro and thermal. So if you look at it from your own perspective and look at the direction in which these parameters are going, is it going up north or is it going down south? And maybe that might give you an inkling into what maybe the next tariff might look like.
Right, Doc, we'll leave it here. I'm sure we'll have another conversation after that meeting with staff of ECG. But we know as well, I was mentioning to you, the Energy Minister has been speaking and pointing to what the issues are. Here's him in his own words in terms of an explanation and the marching orders he's given to ECG staff to deal with the challenge.
From users that their meters are rapidly depleting units. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapor, has directed the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company to look into the issue and submit a report within 7 days.
We need to investigate it first. It's too early to jump into conclusion that the meters have been tampered with. So I've tasked the team to do the investigation. Let them do the investigation, impartial one, so that when they bring the report, we'll have an informed information and then we'll make an informed decision.
Speaking at the commissioning,
Now, residents of Kumasi expressing growing frustration over intermittent power outages in recent days. Some of these residents in their communities have been experiencing frequent and unannounced power cuts, disrupting economic activities and domestic life. Beyond the erratic supply, residents are also raising concerns about rising electricity price. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti region correspondent with a bit more on the story. Ibrahim, what else can you tell us about the hike in electricity bill in the Ashanti region?
Well, Kamini, before we even go to the hike, for the past 3 weeks, 2 weeks, there has been intermittent power cuts in most communities here, unannounced ones. Once in a while, they will tell you that they are doing some maintenance works and so that we will be able to prepare adequately. But most of the time, it just go on, comes back on and off like that. So the situation has been quite disturbing and concerning to many residents who are hoping that there should be improvement when it comes to communication from Electricity Company of Ghana, so that they will be able to adequately prepare when they are even leaving their homes. And beside this, people are also complaining about high cost of electricity, like you rightly mentioned. Most people will just complain that they don't understand why they will buy prepaid credit, and within a couple of days, it will finish. And this is something that a month or two before, they were able to use it for half a month or even 1 month. Now they buy it within 10 days, then everything is finished. They have to go and recharge again. So now they do not even understand whether there has been an increase, and even if there has been an increase of electricity, what percentage has been increased, so that they will also be able to plan well. Because if, let's say, 2 months ago, you were consuming 200 Ghana cedis worth of electricity, now you can't even calculate, because you buy the same 200 Ghana cedis, and within 10-15 days, everything is gone. You have to find money and go and buy another one. So those has been the concern, especially you go to where the cold store market is, they complain a lot, or businesses that use or rely heavily on it, they are also complaining about losses because they cannot plan well. So going forward, they just want the power distributors to come out with, even if it's a timetable, they should come out with it, so that the communication will go. Mind you, just a month or two ago, in Ashanti region, I would say the Ayawaso power plant, we had additional 140 megawatts of power. So people are even expecting an improvement when it comes to stability of electricity in the region, but they are rather experiencing the opposite of what they have been promised by the same energy ministry and other stakeholders.
Very well. Let's take a listen to some of these residents you spoke with.
Right, you know. If it means one thing is a port to go on about if you would do light for Kumasi. And there be a more bush and light, which I do light for. And apart from that, France, auto light now. First one, let's check out if it auto is here. Because you may I hear any and I quite something night. I got a light, you got all this one. In the whole of banning, yes, intervention, which I had the Abuao man, and I said,
Well, Ibrahim, we hear from the residents. We know that there will be a meeting later today, but have we heard any in terms of how it impacts their work? What are they telling you?
Well, exactly, like I said, for those who heavily rely on electricity for their businesses, talk about cold store operators, printing press, tailors, and also other fashion designers. They are saying that they are recording huge losses, especially for those who are within the Muslim-dominated community. You know, we are already in the month of Ramadan, and after this month will be the Eid festivity. So usually around this time, they get a lot of work on their table to be able to do. So with this situation, they are even concerned that they may not be able to they may not be able to give their clients what they have to do. So they are just hoping that within the coming days, there should be an improvement and stability, for example, when it comes to electricity. And also they want the way forward, they want communication as to how much has been increased with regards to electricity costs, so that they will also be able to adjust and prepare well for their activities.
Ibrahim Mudiva here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti region correspondent. Back here in the capital is Grace Hamwa Ajiman, who's at Nat Height, waiting on that meeting. Grace, what can you report from there?
So the meeting has not begun yet. Yes, but we know that this is at the behest of the energy minister, who earlier has mentioned that the complaints made by consumers have also come to his attention, and so they need to investigate before they can what is happening with the concerns raised by consumers on why their prepaid credit is running out or it's not able to last the number of days that it usually lasts them. That the meeting is going to discuss a lot of issues, but two of them that we know which are very important or which are very relevant to the conversation today is the fact that there's going to be a comprehensive technical briefing on the implementation of the revised tariff within the prepaid vending and metering architecture. That will help the PURC and the other stakeholders establish whether the revision, the implementation of the revision is amounting or is accounting for the concerns raised by consumers or not. Another issue that will be discussed at the meeting, which is also relevant to this conversation we're having today, is the reports on the scale and nature of consumer complaints and current resolution measures, and briefing on immediate technical communication interventions where required to safeguard consumer confidence and regulatory compliance. The PURC has made it clear that it is there to ensure that consumers get value for their money, and so that is going to be very topical at the meeting today. The people who are expected to be at the meeting include the technical teams. We also know that there's going to be the metering and vending system team, as well as other commissioners of PURC who are very relevant for this conversation. Back to you in the studio.
Very well, Grace. Thank you so much for that report. We'll turn attention to other stories.
Well, this afternoon, the Driver, Vehicle and Licensing Authority, DVLA, is being heavily criticized for its intention to send staff to assist in the provision of extended services in 5 countries in North America and Europe. The authority CEO, Julius Nikwe-Kote, disclosed that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has approved processes for some staff to travel overseas to facilitate the registration and renewal of licenses of Ghanaian drivers in the diaspora. He spoke at the commissioning of a new DVLA office at Bantama in Kumasi.
Body.
DVLA staff, you are traveling overseas to go and provide services in 5 countries outside the US, Canada, Netherlands, UK, and Germany. I can see you are smiling. I will add you, don't worry. So that is the service we are going to provide. We've gotten approval by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is what we are going to do for our Ghanaians staying abroad. They don't need to come down to come and renew their 1-year license, which has expired. We'll be there and we'll be doing it for them. We'll provide all licensing issues over there for them without.
Well, we know that on the back of those comments, there's been quite the backlash and criticism of the move. The DVLA has sought to explain or clarify the position as made known by its boss. Here's exactly what they've been saying, and I'm going to walk you through that right now. Portions or brief portions of that statement is coming on your screens right now. And they, amongst many things, say, for clarity, the DVLA, through an arrangement with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, has agreed to collaborate with Ghana's embassies across the globe to provide selected services, including international driver's permit and driver's license renewal to qualified Ghanaian citizens domiciled in other countries. They go on to say, amongst many other things, that this is a misunderstanding to a great extent, right? There is some misunderstanding. And they say, for clarity, as part of the implementation, the DVLA will provide training for embassy staff to do verification of documents and forward same to DVLA for processing. And once the processing is done, the authority will then return the processed documents to the embassies for pickup by the applicants. And they go on to say that the operation does not in any way mean that DVLA will post its domestic staff to work at embassies in the aforementioned countries, as the news headlines sought to portray. Finally, they say they want to reiterate that the authority practices an open door policy and encourages the media and individuals who require clarity or information on the operations of the authority to approach the Corporate Affairs Department for such details to avoid misleading reportage. And that's the DVLA in relation to the concerns. And that will take us on to our very first break here on News Central. When we return, we have a bit more for you because we know Parliament is already in session, and a bit more from there as well, and as well from other parts of the country if you stay with us here on News Central. Please stay.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Comfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast, then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Comfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast, then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it. It's time to explore Ghana. It's that time of the year when Media General transforms into Ghana's cultural hub, and this year we're taking it to another level. Our Ghana village is bigger and better. So much to experience, eat, drink, buy, do and learn every single day. And there's more. The Ghana Month Expedition offers 3 nights and 4 days of pure, unforgettable fun touring the best part of the Eastern, Ashanti and Central regions from the 19th to the 22nd of March. And on the 28th March, all roads lead to the Legon City Mall for your favorite food event, the 3FM Gobe Festival. But that's not all. All throughout March, our screens and dials celebrate everything that makes us proud. Our shows, music, movies, festivals, history, traditions, and more. Welcome to a truly incomparable and totally immersive Ghana Month 2026. Ghana Month launches on all Media General platforms on Monday, 2nd March 2026 at 10 a.m. It's that time of the year when Media General transforms into Ghana's cultural hub, and this year we're taking it to another level. Our Ghana village is bigger and better. So much to experience, eat, drink, buy, do and learn every single day. And there's more. The Ghana
We'll now bring you some stories from your election command center, because in about a week, precisely next week, Ayawaso East constituency will head to the polls in the by-election to elect a new MP on the back of the recent passing of the incumbent MP, Muhammad Nasir Toure. On your election command center today, we have one of the contenders, Baba Jamal, here in the studios with us. Before we engage in that conversation, remember that we already have 3 candidates. Umar Sanda, who formerly of the NDC, now an independent candidate. Ali Husseini of the NPP as well. We will see all these candidates in the coming days. However, right now, Ali Yusuf of the NPP, just quick correction on that. Right now, however, as we wait on to see these candidates in the coming days, we have with me in the studio former Akwetia MP, former High Commissioner to Nigeria, and the NDC candidate for this by-election, Baba Jamal, here with me in the studio. I appreciate your time with us here.
Thank you.
Finally, we get to meet you.
Yeah, no. This one I came myself. I'm on my own campaign trail.
I see.
But you know TV3 is part of my constituent. So I decided to come and campaign here.
We are not your constituency.
You are part of it.
We are part of the constituency.
You are part of the constituency where I need to campaign. And when I say my constituent, it involves where I need to campaign.
I see.
And so I'm here to campaign. And I know a lot of your workers here vote in East Ayawaso.
I don't know that for sure.
A lot of them vote in East Ayawaso.
But I can tell you for sure our platform is not for campaigning. So let's have a quick chat.
We will have a chat, but let's lay the ground rules. I came myself to crash on you sometimes the way you crash on us.
We don't crash on you. we have never done that before.
I am here to campaign. And that's why, as part of my constituency, people who are here who vote, I decided to enter here. So we can go ahead with the conversation.
Let's have the chat now. One of the things that you faced a lot during the campaign were, during the primary, issues of vote buying that had come up. There was an investigation that followed. The investigation did indicate that indeed there were incidents of vote buying, not only from your camp. Were you surprised that that was the outcome that came? That was the outcome of the investigation?
What I would say on that is that there was a committee that was set up. The committee represented its report to the National Executive Committee, represented by PURC, which is the Functional Executive Committee. They've gone ahead to clear me to go ahead and contest. And I want to leave it at that. For now, I want to leave it at that, because once I'm cleared, it means that I'm qualified to contest.
I agree.
I have been cleared. I don't want to comment on that for now, because I'm talking about developmental issues on East
I completely understand.
Yes.
The reason I bring that up is we know that there's a Supreme Court case now seeking an injunction to exclude you from the election because of that outcome, that indeed there were incidents of vote buying. In fact, they are seeking that the Electoral Commission does not hold the election on March 3 because of the outcome of FEC's investigation.
That is supposed to be in the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court deal with that.
You don't think that's a problem
let
for
the Supreme Court
Do
deal
you
with
think that March 3 will happen?
I'm saying that let the Supreme Court deal with that. As far as I'm concerned, everything is on course. Whatever we are supposed to do, we are doing. The Electoral Commission is preparing to hold elections on the 3rd, and I want to leave it at that.
How do you plan to win this election?
I don't plan to win. I'm campaigning to win.
Yeah, so how do you plan to win the election?
We have laid down the strategies. You see, interestingly, East Ayawaso as a constituency is made up of 2 different regions, so I put it in that way. You look at Nima, a very low-class area, a lot of people live in virtually slums. And you compare, and that's where I live. I live in the slum, in a way. Then you come to places like Kanda, your area here, TV3, home base. This is a first-class place, comparably in this our country. So we have 2 different situations. And we need to have a strategy for Nima. We need to have a strategy. That's why with the Nima, we do that group campaigning, because that is a very crowded area. But when it comes here, we need to come from door to door. And that's why I'm knocking at your door this morning. From the other side, I'm knocking from door to door, campaigning to people to have a one-on-one interaction.
What are you telling people in your campaign?
I am saying that I am the best for the place.
Why?
I have the experience. I have been in parliament before. My records in Akotia will tell you that I did very well.
What is your record? Because I remember the NPP didn't think that you had done much for the constituency until the very last minute when the election was coming up.
That is in Akotia.
In Akotia,
Akotia,
yes.
I was there for 4 years.
I know.
I was the one who facilitated the creation of a district for Akotia. I started all the roads in Akotia. I built that market you see in Akotia. I facilitated, in fact, I went to Turkey and facilitated a 165 million water project for Akotia. They are drinking water for the 41 years. I initiated 2 secondary schools, one in Takoradi, one in Akotia. I did small-scale water project for Wenchi, Apinamine, and Ajunase. I built 4 bridges from my common fund. I built 6 primary schools from my common fund. And so if this is not a record to be proud of, and then I'm wondering what you want me to be proud of. And
so in the case of the constituent of Ayawaso East,
yes,
what is it that you bring to the table in terms of what they should expect from you if or when you become MP?
Human development, the first one. This is an area, especially the other side I'm talking about, where we need to invest in the human beings, facilitate them to acquire skills, facilitate them into the security agencies, facilitate them to learn, go to school. And can you believe that we don't even have a secondary school dedicated to that community? This is one of my first projects I'm going to pursue, to have a secondary technical school dedicated to Nima and its environs. Nima is a place where we need, there's too many people. You know, we have drug menace because the children don't have alternatives. So the drug problem is increasing. These are issues we are going to tackle. One of the things, I want to turn Nima into an industrial hub. The meaning of this industrial hub is that we did a research and identified 35 skills, mason, carpentry, whatever. You understand? We want to identify these areas, attach children to these various places, and let them learn trade. Because now we have to go that way. That's the only way we can take a lot of them off the drug menace. That's the way we can take them off the streets.
Right.
We need to provide, another research shows that.
I see, but Honorable, just a couple of things.
But this is important, let me make this point. 75% of the economy of Nima depends on women. So we need to provide women with seed money, capital, interest-free loans. As I talk to you now, currently, I have over 400 women on interest-free loan that I have personally instituted.
Which is where I'm going to, right? Because you've said that a number of times and how you're contributing to NEMA as a community. You had an appointment as Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria. You have told us that job was way better. It pays so well, and you know, on the regular, you shouldn't have even left that job for this one. But you want to serve the people. Is it that you can only serve the people when you are MP? Because you are already doing that. So why did you leave that job?
Everybody has his role and where he can perform better. I am a grassroots man. I deal with people. I live in them. I believe that the best way to serve them is to give them an image-changing representation in Parliament. Not just representing them in Parliament.
I see.
An image-changing representation in Parliament. And also, let me tell you, I'm not motivated by material things. I'm motivated by human service. I had a vision for the place. I didn't start it now. I started in 2017 when I lost Akutia and I said, I'm not going to Akutia again. Even though the people still wanted me to stay on and I said no, I came to Nima. I came and I had a vision for the place. So when this happened, even though I wanted the seat, but not this way, it came too early for me. And I didn't expect this thing to happen to our brother. May his soul rest in peace. But it is an opportunity for me to implement the vision I have for the area. And so I can serve them, yes, through Nigeria, but that will be a further from coming closer to them and dealing with confronting their problems directly on the ground. That's why I'm here.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us about your plans for Ayawaso East.
So I'm soliciting your vote.
No, you can't solicit my vote. Thank
Why
you very
can't
much.
I solicit your vote? I'm here to campaign.
NDC candidate for the Ayawaso East by-election. And in the coming days, we'll bring you the other contenders in this by-election as well. We'll be right back.
Now, in under 24 hours, President Mahama will deliver his second State of the Nation address after his swearing in on January 7, 2025. The address, which is a stock-taking constitutional requirement, has as well become an avenue where new promises are made to Ghanaians. Today, we intend to track one of such promises made by President Mahama during last year's State of the Nation address. Upon assumption of office, Ghana's economy was challenged, requiring urgent fixes. The president made this declaration in Parliament.
I have therefore not come here to lament on the state of our country, though there's much to lament about. I understand why I was elected with such high voter confidence, and that is to solve Ghana's problems. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, and within the constraints of time, I'll take the liberty to elaborate on how we intend to address the numerous challenges facing us as a nation. Yesterday, February 26, 2025, marks exactly 10 years since I stood in this chamber, at this very spot, to declare my determination to fix Dumso, a legacy problem of power shortages. And Mr. Speaker, I fixed it. Yes, I promised to fix it, and I did. And I wish to place firmly on record that from January 2016 until I handed over the administration of this country on January 7, 2017, there was no power rationing or load management in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, today, inspired by the Almighty God and propelled by the massive mandate given to me by the good people of Ghana, I am moved to make a similar purposeful and bold declaration that I, John Dramani Mahama, I will fix the economic crisis confronting our country and reset it on a path of growth and prosperity. that I will fix the economic crisis confronting our country and reset it on a path of growth and prosperity. My government, working with you and every Ghanaian, will solve the challenges because we have developed the plan with our people's support.
A year down the line, how has the government fared in addressing what they said was a challenge in the economy? Let's walk you through the indicators as we had it then and now, and get an understanding as to what really the situation is this afternoon. And because of time, we're just going to try and stay on a few of the indicators, right? Just a few of them, and get an understanding as to. And we're starting off with the city because it's an important aspect of the conversation in terms of everything that we do. And this is where we were at as at March to May of 2025. And this is where we are currently. And if you take the figures from the Bank of Ghana, we're hovering around, as I checked yesterday, right? 10 cedis, 66 pesos is what it is. I wasn't able to check this morning, but as at the time I checked, they hadn't posted the update from the website of the Bank of Ghana. But this is where we are, from 15 to 10 in terms of the exchange rate and inflation. Also another important aspect or another important macro indicator to assess the health of the economy. This is the regions from which we've moved up until now. We were at 23.8% as of December of 2024. In January of 2025, we stood at 23.5%, and we're down to 3.5% in terms of inflation. And I know a lot of you have asked a lot of questions in terms of what this means. It pretty simply means that the rates by which prices increase on the market has greatly slowed, meaning that in January of 2025, or let me say we're in February, right? So in February last year, where prices were increasing by 20% on average, now we're not seeing prices increase by that threshold, and we're seeing that do by 3.5%, and there are those who talk about we should see prices beginning to go down. Some commodities have seen prices reduce, and some haven't. All of that constitutes a mix in terms of what we're seeing play out. Then there's a debt stock in relation to the economy, right? And if you know that, we here will more often than not remind you as to how much each Ghanaian owes vis-a-vis the debt stock. You strike an average in terms of the country's population, and not everybody is excited because when that's shared on social media, a lot of people say, I'm not a part of it. You go and fix that mess. This is where we were at. 769 billion cedis as at March of 2025. We're down to 644.6 billion cedis. In terms of the relation debt to GDP ratio, we've seen that reduce as well from 54.3% to some 45.5% as at November 2025. And updated figures suggest it could be lower from the finance minister of the nation. My colleague Noura Mohammed was at the Makola market. Here's what she found out.
He has been doing great thing. I think the situation now is more relieved by the masses, because I was having a talk with some of my friends like 4 days ago, and they were telling me in terms of transportation, the fare has reduced, and I think the system is more calm compared to the past government. To my expectation too, I think Accra needs where they will take care of the people who are not enough to take care of themselves, especially in terms of accommodation. If you go around the metropolis, you see some places, you see some junkies, and these people are from places, and these people they are not acting good nature to the beauty of the city. So I think the president should have a place like a camp where he can camp these people who are not have the standard or the financial money to get a good accommodation. They should try and take care of those people. Those people should be taken care of.
So far, so good. Mama administration has done very well regarding the economy so far. And for me, with the current administration, I would like them to create more jobs for we the youth that we are coming up.
The market in mum de enkoyi ento ade kura fitida e papa no betena so no mum waya ade mu amaye ba adwane enkoyi ento ade kura nti e pano chow onhwe ne nti no nye bibi wo ho emaye niama na ye tonu ebinim bo ye di ebinim so bo ye yi on se bia ne nimre ediba ena ebi nso ewo time a eno nso ekọ nti na emi se abanisa no nti ye panicho afa ni lorry fare niama na ebe ba lorry fare no nso ka ho ena niama ne yesa nti ye nso aya ye ton ye de ni nyina aka ho ena ye ton efi se ye ntumi nyi lorry fare na emfiri niama no se yesa obeboka
sese edwa na nye yento hwehwe yetimi betena ha bi a waton ade 100 cedis nkwala wo fie o ha adan utua light bill utua water bill na wo betena edwemu waton ade 100 cedis 200 cedis bisa ho se ubedi ahen ebeka ahen nkwala bedi ahen ho kyerɛ oba ho akyerɛ no enka wo ho akyerɛ no oba ne de ya obenya bi dia support by wo ho akyerɛ oba ho akyerɛ.
Now, some MPs have been sharing their expectations ahead of the State of the Nation address. Take a listen.
When you talk about cocoa, I think that those who have followed the discussion are now fully aware that the problem was only inherited by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and the steps that he is taking are steps that will resolve the problems, not just for his regime, but for even governments that will come after him. Again, when you talk about electricity, we know the debts that they left behind in that sector, the mismanagement of even, the ESLA that was left for them to solve the problems in that sector. President Mahama, being who he is, will give a correct account of affairs of the state, and he will do so sincerely.
You can see there a lot of despondency among the Ghanaian people, okay? You've recently heard about the cocoa head cut, which has affected over 1 million of cocoa farmers in the country. We are not only even talking about just the million, they have a lot of dependents, those who are students in school and all those things. These are very difficult moments for those Ghanaian farmers that they are losing money as a result of government decision to cut down the price, the producer price, okay? That is one thing. Recently, we also heard about people complaining about electricity. Okay, this was a decision that was taken by government just to increase the electricity tariff by some 28%, and we are now feeling the impact of it. So these are people who are complaining. The youth that were promised the employment are there, so saying that they have not gotten the job that this government promised them. These are three key things. So if the president is coming here tomorrow, he should be bringing solutions as to how these matters are going to be dealt with.
The President's State of the Nation address, which is an annual requirement, has become a ritual. And what we expect the President, for instance, to tell Ghanaians is nothing but the truth. The real State of the Nation address. They should tell Ghanaians what it will take them to accept whatever outcomes that are ahead of us. Some of us will not like anything like flattering. Coming to court, Go So Good is an experienced member of parliament before. He has passed through all the ranks. He has been a president before, and once again he has come. Ghanaians are waiting for nothing but truism.
To the Eastern region now, where the Ayawaso East constituency executives of the governing NDC are calling on the Inspector General of Police and the National Intelligence Bureau to probe illegal mining activities and the destruction of farmlands in the district.
According to the party executives, several farmlands have been destroyed as illegal miners continue their operations unabated. They accuse some individuals of unlawfully seizing lands under the cover of mining activities, creating tension in affected communities.
We will seize the opportunity to call on the Interior Minister, the IGP, National Security Coordinator, and the BNI to look into the matter and act accordingly. It's been codified and reported that in Asaman Town alone, over 200 farmers have reportedly lost approximately 70 hectares of farmlands to illegal activities, which has affected their livelihoods. For the records, similar incidents have occurred in Osino and Ankasi, but this same very person.
Some farmers claim they have lost their livelihood.
Na somewhere there, a war rem. Akora ketekete. Enye yesa. Momwami o. Momwami. Na ya. Sie, me kwa na me to. Me pa bu cho momwami why? No be kwa binya ko de be yale. Me yale o. Me yale why? Momwami.
The NDC constituency executives, however, commended the Ayawaso East District Chief Executive, Ernest Owusu team, for his effort to keep irresponsible mining in the districts.
It will be one of the many things people will look forward to when the president speaks tomorrow. Subject of Galamsey and our efforts towards addressing it.
That's correct.
We'll see what he will say in relation to it. That's our bulletin. I am Awen Aigbeta.
And I am Kemeni Amano. Remember that we will bring you a live coverage of the State of the Nation address here on TV3 and on 392.7 FM right from the morning shows until the very last word is said. Bye-bye.